This road sign means A. Intersection ahead. B. Merging traffic. C. Steep hill ahead. If there is a deep puddle on the road ahead, you should A. Maintain the posted speed to make it through the water. B. Avoid the puddle if possible. C. Shift into neutral as you drive through the water. B. Avoid the puddle if possible. To prevent skidding on slippery surfaces, avoid especially slippery areas, such as ice patches, wet leaves, oil, or deep puddles. The safest surface for driving is a dry, solid surface. A person who drives much slower than the speed limit. A. Is a very safe driver. B. Always has the right of way. C. Should not let following cars pass. D. May create a dangerous driving environment. D. May create a dangerous driving environment. Driving more slowly than the flow of traffic can be hazardous. If you are on a two-lane, two-way road and driving so slowly that traffic is backing up behind you, you are required to pull off the road and let the other vehicles pass. Only drive significantly under the speed limit when conditions require it. If you encounter an aggressive driver, you should A. Challenge them. B. Get out of their way. C. Speed up. B. Get out of their way. Drivers must respect and cooperate with all other road users and conform to specific rules in order to maintain order and to avoid crashes. When encountering an aggressive driver, it is safest to just get out of their way. Always avoid competing with other drivers.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When driving in fog, you should use your A. Low beam headlights. B. High beam headlights. C. Parking lights. D. Hazard flashers. A. Low beam headlights. If you must drive in foggy conditions, you should use your low beam headlights, as well as your fog lights, if your vehicle has them. High beams direct their light upwards, where it can bounce off the fog and into your eyes, reducing visibility even more. From top to bottom, the following is the proper order for traffic lights. A. Red, yellow, green. B. Red, green, yellow. C. Green, red, yellow. A. Red, yellow, green. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. This sign warns drivers about the presence of traffic signals at an intersection ahead. Traffic signals sometimes display arrows to control turns from specific lanes. A solid red arrow, A, is never used as a traffic signal. B, has the same meaning as a circular red traffic light. C, means that drivers may turn in the direction indicated by the arrow. D, means that the traffic the arrow is pointing toward must stop. B, has the same meaning as a circular red traffic light. A solid red arrow in a traffic signal means the same thing as a circular red traffic light. When an arrow is red, traffic in the indicated lane must stop and may not turn in the direction that the arrow is pointing. When operating a motor vehicle, it is a secondary offense to use a handheld wireless communication device. A. To read, type, or send written communication. B. As a radio. C. As a GPS navigation device. D. To play music. A. To read, type, or send written communication. It is a secondary offense to use a handheld wireless communication device to read, type, or send written communication while operating a motor vehicle. Violation of this law will result in a fine ranging from $200 to $500. From top to bottom, the following is the proper order for traffic lights. A. Red, yellow, green. B. Red, green, yellow. C. Green, red, yellow. D. Green, yellow, red. A. Red, yellow, green. On a traffic signal arranged vertically, red is always on top and green on the bottom. When arranged horizontally, red is always on the left and green on the right. Always signal when A. Changing lanes. B. Pulling into or out of a parking space. C. Pulling into traffic from an alley or parking area. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Always use the proper turn signal when changing lanes, pulling into or out of a parking space, or pulling into traffic from an alley or parking area. Communicate with other drivers on the road to help prevent accidents. After being pulled over by law enforcement, a driver should immediately exit the vehicle and quickly approach the officer's squad car. A. True. B. False. B. False. If stopped by law enforcement, you should stay in your vehicle with both hands clearly in sight on the steering wheel. What does this road sign mean? A. Be ready to merge with traffic entering your lane. B. Always stop. C. Divided highway ahead. A. Be ready to merge with traffic entering your lane. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns that merging traffic will be entering from the right, so drivers should prepare to allow the incoming traffic to safely merge. Headlights must be used. A. After 6 p.m. and before 7 a.m. B. After 7 p.m. and before 6 a.m. C. After 8 p.m. and before 7 a.m. D. From sunset to sunrise. D. From sunset to sunrise. Your vehicle's headlights must be activated between sunset and sunrise. Use headlights anytime you are driving under conditions that lower visibility. To help others see you when daylight begins to fade, you should use your A. Parking lights. B. Low beam headlights. C. Emergency flashers. B. Low beam headlights. As daylight begins to fade, turn on your low beams to help others see you. Only use your high beam headlights in an open area where no other drivers are present. When approaching an intersection controlled by a flashing yellow light, you must A. Come to a complete stop at the intersection. B. Maintain your normal speed. C. Slow down and proceed with caution. C. Slow down and proceed with caution. A traffic signal displaying a flashing yellow light indicates that you should be alert and proceed with caution. Slow down when approaching a flashing yellow traffic signal. This road sign means A. Do not enter. B. No parking. C. No U-turn. D. No left turn. C. No U-turn. This signs indicate that U-turns are prohibited in the location where it is posted. You are approaching an intersection with a steady yellow traffic light. If you have not already entered the intersection, you should A. Speed up to beat the red light. B. Reduce your speed and proceed carefully through the intersection. C. Come to a safe stop. C. Come to a safe stop. When a steady yellow light appears on a traffic signal, you should prepare to stop. If you are already within the intersection, you should clear the intersection as quickly as possible. When changing lanes. A. Check your side mirror and look over your shoulder to make sure the lane is clear. B. Check the inside rearview mirror. C. Slow down. A. Check your side mirror and look over your shoulder to make sure the lane is clear. Before changing lanes, you should check your side mirrors and look over your shoulder to make sure it is safe to proceed. When completing an emergency roadside stop, it is not necessary to put on your parking brake. A. True. B. False. B. False. Set your parking brake when making an emergency roadside stop. Turn on your emergency flashers to alert other drivers to your presence. It is important to frequently check the traffic behind you when A. Changing lanes. B. Driving down steep hills. C. Slowing down. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Check the traffic behind your vehicle no less than once every 10 seconds. It is important to know what surrounding traffic is doing while you are changing lanes, backing up, slowing down, or driving down steep hills. Which is the most common cause of traffic crashes? A. New drivers. B. Human error. C. Bad weather. D. Bad roads. B. Human error. Crashes often occur when one driver does not see another vehicle or when a driver does something unexpected. Communicate with other drivers on the road to help prevent traffic crashes. Streets and highways are most slippery. A. When it has been raining hard for several hours. B. When they are clean and dry. C. Just after it starts to rain. C. Just after it starts to rain. Driving during the first half hour of rainfall is dangerous because roadways become extremely slippery when the water mixes with oil and other chemicals on the road surfaces that have not yet washed away. Use extra caution when driving on slippery roads. Round signs indicate A. No passing zones. B. School zones. C. Upcoming railroad crossings. D. Hospitals. C. Upcoming railroad crossings. Round signs warn drivers of an upcoming railroad crossing area. Drivers should use extra caution when approaching a railroad crossing. Failure to secure child passengers in a safety belt or child safety seat is punishable by A. A fine and 1 point assessed against the driver. B. 2 points assessed against the driver. C. 2 points and court costs assessed against the driver. A. A fine and 1 point assessed against the driver. Children under age 18 must be secured in a safety belt or child safety seat when riding in a motor vehicle. If cited for violation of this requirement, a driver may be fined $25 plus court costs and incur 1 point on their driving record. When driving in fog, you should use your low beam headlights? A. True. B. False. A. True. You should always use your low beam headlights when driving in fog. High beam headlights may cause the light to reflect off of the fog and into your eyes.